Alrighty. Hi, Yazu. How's it going? Alright. So we are continuing with the Pass the Mod development. Poyo! Can't forget the Poyo. This will probably be a short stream. I'm just going to wrap up this project and then probably call it for the night. I'm super tired. And... duplicated Poyo? Yep, that tracks because I do have desktop audio on. I will disable the streamer bot audio. So we're just getting desktop audio, that should work. If you think about it, it's really just Poyo with echo, with reverb. Is that a good thing? Double the Poyo, double the fun. So we're continuing on from what I worked on earlier this week. I was given the current state of the mod. 2 people worked on adding art assets for 3 planets and this custom solar system. And I decided to use my turn. I get 5 hours to work on it to add a puzzle, make one of the planets interactive. So that's what I worked on. I'm going to review what we've done so far, and then I'll start the timer, and we'll use our remaining hour and 20 minutes to hit the 5-hour mark to add some polish, probably. So, we've been given this dead light system. Got a big light bulb shaped sun in the middle. And we have 3 planets: sand, stone, flower pot, and ice shard. Sandstone is a rocky little planet covered in cacti with this this rail with solar panels on it. That's what's going on there. And then the flower pot, which has these bramble plants in a, well, oddly enough, a flower pot, go figure. They're all glowing. The brambles brambling. And then there's ice shard, which doesn't seem to have anything on it, but it is a big block of rocky ice. It's very cool. So that all existed when I was handed the mod. None of that is my additions. My additions are specifically a puzzle that we added to sandstone. On the left, we have an hour 20 minutes. I had each person in the chain has 5 hours total. We spent 3 hours and 40 minutes across the last stream. Yeah, so not a whole lot of time left. So what I've added here, if I can find it, right here. And that is something I want to potentially polish up first, is adding a bigger indicator of where this thing is. I feel like it could be really easily missed right now. And we've added some interactable elements over here. There's just straight up not a wall there, don't worry about it. So there's this quote-unquote vault, which is just a closed Nomai door with a scroll inside of it. We got this computer here that says Dynamo status insufficient power, lockdown in effect. And there's this switch here, it says solar rail emergency stop. So there's this little rail of things going around. If we flip that, it stops moving. It comes to a stop. But if we wait for the sun to be overhead, because the idea is it's solar powered, the light bulb sun, if we wait for that to pass overhead so that more of its sunlight is affecting the train, and then re-enable it, it suddenly moves much faster. And it's able to pick up speed, and hopefully get enough to be self-sufficient. So that it can start making full revolutions around the planet without having to be externally boosted. And if it gets to a high enough speed, the thing opens up and it was status fully powered, lockdown lifted. So once it gets fast enough, the vault opens up and we can take the scroll. We added this text over here. Finish moving the last of our research data into the secure vault. In the event of a catastrophic power loss, it should seal away all of our experimental data before the data corruption is irreversible. Dynamo should be a self-sustaining source of energy as it spins, correct? Is power failure a serious concern here? If Dynamo ever gets stuck, we may not have time to clear the obstruction and get it running smoothly again before it's too late. Due to the volatility of our experiment, I concur with this course of action. We need adequate safety precautions this time if we want to avoid what happened on Ice Shard. And if we put in the scroll from the closed up door, it just says placeholder, because I'm hoping someone else will take that and do something with it. So that's all the stuff we've added. All this is interactable, so the train is driven by scripting based on the position of the sun. The emergency start and stop was coded in, as well as the vault door and display there. All of that was additional code that I set up. So that's been my contribution so far. And now we've got an hour and 20 minutes left to polish it up and get it ready for the next person. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to go ahead and start the timer. There we go. So first things first, I want to add some kind of big, obvious visual indicator here so you know to come land and look at this thing. So what I want to do is I want to go grab a Nomai thing, like a tractor beam, not tractor beam necessarily, but like a Nomai structure from the base game and copy and paste it over here. I'm going to see if I have something saved for that somewhere. Outer Wilds props, there's the spreadsheet. Any of this docs me? I don't think so. Never mind, that does. Whoops. It's fine. It is not hard to find my name. Alright, so I want to find something big and obvious to put here. A non-functional gravity cannon would certainly do that, but that might be too big. We can definitely put a tractor beam here. Nomai pedestal, Nomai emergency lamps, crash recorder, Nomai shuttle. A landed Nomai shuttle would certainly work. What else do we got? A distress beacon. We could slap down one of those escape pod distress beacons. That'd be a good one. Big bright shining light. Indicating, hey, you should go land here. Why don't we slap that on top here, on top of the vault? Cover up some of these obvious missing geometries. So we'll put that there. Open this up. Alright. Yeah. I'm getting turned around in my head. Okay, so this is on Sandstone Planet. Please don't crash on me. Please don't crash on me. Okay. Props. We're gonna slap down a prop here. This Nomai transponder. And this position and rotation that we selected. There we go. And now if I build this, it will copy over this new updated thing. I need to close the game first. There it goes. So now if we relaunch the game, that transponder should be there. I would restarted the timer, I just realized that's fine. Hour and 20 minutes. That's how long we have. I need to figure out how to use Live Split properly. It's the tool that every speedrunner uses for their timers, but I don't know how to set it up and control it properly yet. I need to look into that. Okay, so now look around. It should be around here somewhere. There it is. No, it doesn't have the beam though. Okay, but it's there. I'm not a speedrunner, that is true. Okay, well that's something. So let's see if we can lower this into the doorway a little bit. Spawner. What if we parent this to the door? So if we... grab the vault door, copy that, go to the transponder, transform, parent, paste. No, can't do that. That makes sense. Vault door, transform, copy, paste as parent. Okay. Now we can check the local position rotation. We can set all that to 0. And set the local position to 020. 030. There we go, that looks a little bit more intentional. Still not great, but it's something. Okay. So now we need to recreate that setup. So I'm going to set the parent path to... what is this? Sector... Dynamo vault door. Position rotation are relative to parent. Position is 0, 30, 3, 0. Rotation is 0, 0, 0. So no rotation. Okay, and then I also want to grab the distress beacon light. Can I just grab this whole thing? And those positioned the same. This is Cave Twin. Distress beacon transmitter, yep, okay. The local positions are not quite zeroed out, but it's close. Okay, that also has the signal. That makes sense. Okay. So leave that. And then just copy the light beam. Okay. So let's see if that works. Update that, reload configs. We're at 12 minutes in. Oh. Okay, there we go. Now we got an obvious, well, hopefully obvious when you're flying around, beacon to say, hey, come land here, it's important. So hopefully that's enough for other modders to realize, hey, we should go do something here. Maybe I can slap an empty wall on this side too, just to help box it in a little bit. It's on the ground. There we go. Alright, and then where I did the text wall, just do that again, but empty. Okay. Rebuild, reload configs. Okay, that wall's not quite rotated correctly. I can fix that. But cool, that is the idea. Let's see. So this is on the Sandstone planet. Sector. My whiteboard. I just need to rotate this into position. Not that way. This way. And it's a little bit too far in. We need to move it outward a little bit. Yeah, that looks close enough. It's a little bit messy, but that's fine. Cool. It's at least boxing it in now. Okay, so now I need to copy these values out and use them here. Alright, so these are the position numbers. These are the rotation numbers. Okay, cool. And we can reload configs again just to test that one. here. Okay, cool. It is messy, but we're on a time crunch. So now it looks more like this is supposed to be a box. It's still missing a roof, but it's got something on the roof. Cool. Don't mind if the walls don't line up, it's not important. And now there's a nice available wall if for some reason you don't realize you can pull the scrolls out of the other one. Crunchy time, exactly. Okay, so that's that. This whole puzzle is functional. It's a little bare bones, but it works. I was gonna say we had ship logs, but I feel like this might be a rush one where there's not enough time for us to add ship logs for everything on the first pass of the mod. So instead, I would like to do another mechanic real quick if we can. My thought is we could... I want to see if I can make the sun blink, because it's like a light bulb, right? So we have like a light bulb that's like flickering as it's dying out. That would be cool, I think. So I want to see if I can control the sunlight somehow. So let's see if we can do that. So we got Deadlight Body Star Light Controller. Sunlight Controller. Can I change this? If I modify this, does it change anything? It does. That made it a lot dimmer. What if I crank this all the way down to like 0.1? Now it's got the fog but nothing else. And a buzz to sound like with the neon lights blinking or whatever? Potentially, yeah, if I can find one. It's got like the cloud effect in it, but we can turn off the light. That's basically what I was looking for. And did that make the planet darker too? I can't tell. I feel like it did. At least from a distance. Oh yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so then that's easy. All we have to do is drain that value. And we can control the sunlight. Well, that's easy. Okay, cool. So we're gonna do that. We are gonna make a dying light controller. Or dying sun controller. Or maybe a light bulb controller. That'll work. Okay. So then we need a reference to the sunlight controller. Detected. Light awake. Yeah, I can just be on here. That works. Where is the sunlight controller living? Is this just on... No, it's on the starlight controller. Okay. So let's make sure we're adding our new light bulb controller to mod. We do have a reference to the sun. That's perfect. Light bulb controller. Light bulb controller. So we have a reference to the altered sun. And then we get a reference to the starlight controller. So it is just going to be a child called Starlight Controller. And then we add our light bulb controller to it. Perfect. Yeah, it's called Starlight Controller. Yep. Alright. And then we can... Let's just quickly do like a pulsing effect on it. So sunlight controller dot base sun base intensity, and we're gonna just do a pulsing effect on it for now, and then we'll modify that from there. So let's start with that. Let's see if that worked at all. Not immediately seeing it change. Did I set things up correctly? It is not adding the light bulb controller. What am I missing here? Light bulb controller is null. Everything's null. Where did it air out? Could not find Starlight controller. Okay. Very good. So is it not dead light? It does find the altered sun. Did I just get Starlight controller named wrong? Now it looks like it's spelled the same. Altered sun. Can I run that function on this? Yeah, it finds it. So why doesn't that work? Do I need to add a delay? Probably. Alright, we have 1 hour left. That finds Starlight controller. Okay, still not working. So we can maybe put that on a 1 second delay. Maybe it's just not ready yet. .events, .unity, .fire it and updates. There we go. Let's run that the following frame, see if that works. The modding framework is kind of jank, and there's a lot of times where like something doesn't get set up properly until a frame or two later. Sometimes you just have to randomly add a few frames of delay for everything to be set up and ready for you to mess with. Alright, let's see if that works. Could not find Starlight controller still. Okay, why not? We have our altered sun. We know that that loads. We know it's called Starlight controller. We ran that function and it worked. We'll add 2 frames of delay. I do have another way of doing this, but it's kind of jank. Okay. That may have worked. Alright, there we go. The sun is now pulsing. Very cool. It's probably a little bit extreme right now, but that's cool. Neat. Yeah, I think so too. Alright, cool. So we got that. I think we can make it less dramatic as like the normal brightness. Peak intensity. Let's do that. So this moves it from 0 to 1. Pulse out. Max intensity. See. Alright. Intensity range, sure. And then pulse rate. That makes sense. Minimal intensity plus intensity range times pulse. So now we can control all those, how fast it pulses, how much it pulses by. So we'll do this. It pulses between half brightness and full brightness every 2 seconds. That seemed pretty satisfying. And then we also want to do some kind of flickering, I think, on top of this. There are settings for that. Our existing controllers, so let me see what they look like. There's a light flicker controller. We won't be able to use it as is, but maybe we can steal some code from the base game for it. Okay, so where is it? Light flicker controller. Light flicker. Light flicker 2. What's the difference? I don't know. Alright, so it just randomizes the flicker. What's the base one do? So it generates a random amount. Moves towards that random amount. Only if it's already faded to nothing. Okay. So it just rapidly moves to random light brightnesses. That makes sense. They have a preliminary flicker rate of this, like 0.2 seconds. Okay. Your target intensity, your current intensity. All right. If flickering, should we use a flicker timer that works? Flicker timer. then we first we count down the flicker timer. And then we move the current intensity towards target intensity times flicker rate. That, so no, should just be multiplied, yeah. The amount of flicker to move per second. If the current intensity and the target intensity are roughly the same, then choose another random number between 0 and 1. Alright, that works. And then flicker factor is the current intensity. That's going to be kind of obnoxious. Thanks to the hydrate. That was probably a minute ago, wasn't it? A couple seconds ago. Alright, so this is just going to make it infinitely flicker, but we'll test that. She'll have moved back up to full once it stops flickering. That works. Flicker intensity, flicker target. That'll work. Clean that up a little bit. Pulse intensity. That intensity times pulse intensity. Cool. So now it should both pulse and flicker. See how that looks. It's probably gonna be obnoxious. That's the idea. There, that's kind of dramatic. But you can see that it is in fact flickering. You can probably make it flicker faster than that. But it is actively flickering. Yeah, cool. On the right track. Cycles per second. Oh, so that goes from -1 to 1 to 2 divided by 2. That makes sense. Okay, and then we can have the flicker rate. We want the other direction. We want it to be like vroom, intense. Let's move those up there. So it's more obvious what's configurable here. Cool. Oh yeah, let me install a mod real quick. Sound test. There we go. So we can go look for some flickering sound effects to play. So I'm thinking maybe we set it so like the time loop is very short, like 10 minutes or something like that. And then we can make it so that the light starts flickering worse and worse as the time loop goes on until eventually towards the end it just fully dies. That'd be kind of fun. Alright. So yeah, that is obviously kind of epilepsy-inducing at the current rate, but it is in fact flickering, so I think that is what we wanted. I'm gonna lower that rate a little bit. But cool. We have flicker. So let's have a function. Start flicker, trigger flicker. Yeah. That'll work. And then we want to play a sound, so let's grab a sound real quick. I'm gonna pause the background music real quick so we can hear better. Alright, load the game. Dun, dun, da, 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 dun. Yeah, so the sun is going to be flickering. Yeah, don't mind that. Okay, sound test. So we're looking for light flickering sounds. There's like one when like the ring world flickers. I don't know where that would be though. And of course there's like the quantum moon flicker. So that's the flashlight flickering sound. That's a pretty decent one. Let's see if we got anything else that's similar. Station flicker. It's like a more bassy, deep one. Maybe. It's not a bad one. Locator, get player audio controller, dot one shot. External source to play one shot. Audio type dot. What is that? Station flicker. Ring world. Cool. All right. So there's all that. Okay, and then say min flicker, then time till flicker. Flickers. Yeah, let's say that's something longer, something like 20 seconds. Yeah, between 20 and 40 seconds, that should work. Time until next flicker. Let's say it starts at like 10 seconds, so we can test properly. So it's not using the flicker timer, it's just this. Next flicker, less than, greater than 0f. Do that. Otherwise, trigger it. That'll work. Let's try that. So now it should play a sound when it flickers, and it'll start flickering just for a short period of time. Bum, 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 bum. So we had an hour and 20 minutes left when we started the stream. We're at 40 minutes, so we've got another 40 minutes roughly. So we're about halfway through our time bank for the stream. Okay, that pulsing is a little dramatic. I'll need to adjust that. There's it flickering. Let's slow down that pulsing rate. It's too fast. And let's say it only pulses like 20% of that. I think I can adjust that in game real quick so we can just see it. Dead light, starlight controller, light bulb controller. There we go, okay. So now we can say flicker rate, still the same. I'm gonna change pulse rate to 0.5. And set minimum pulse intensity to 0.8. There we go, now it's a little subtler. And showcase finished mod when it's all done? Definitely, yeah. Once everyone else has made their additions. I'll just wait for it to flicker. Nice. Alright, that was nice and obvious. I like that. I need to play a sound. So I should do another one. Nice. Okay, that feels pretty good. I'm happy with that. Alright, and then the next thing I wanted to change was change the time limit to be short and have the light bulb just completely die partway through. So I'm going to add a property for that here. Time until total. Time until light dies. And let's say it dies. For now, I'm going to say 30 seconds because we need to be able to test this. Light dead. All right. Light death intensity. So if light is not dead yet, and we have time left before the light dies. Count it down. Otherwise, if the light is dead, then we rapidly fade the light out. And once it's fully dead, it's dead. Let's have it fade out, just like, that's going to be over the course of like 10 seconds. Let's do that faster. Let's say light death rate. Say it dies over the course of a second when it finally gives out. Or maybe even faster. Like half a second. This light bulb dies. Dupe. Light death rate. And let's have a sound effect that plays when the light fully gives out. Not that. Candle extinguisher, that's pretty quiet. Damn cracking, that's fun. Death by Big Bang. Death by crushing. Fun. Energy death. Not that one. Time loop death? Nah. Okay, something else then. Fire explosion. Fire extinguish, that could work. Electric shock. That one's a good one. I want to play electric shock. Kill light. All right. Let me track if light is dead, so other things can reference that. Like, for example, the puzzle should stop working if the light is dead because there's no solar power for that to work. So we can change that here on the solar ring controller. So we check if it's emergency stopped. We can also check or pass the mod light bulb controller dot is light dead. Yeah, so if the light dies, then it stops working. It acts like it's emergency stopped. That makes sense. Cool. So let's try that then. So now 30 seconds after we start, the light bulb should die. Now once we get that working, we'll extend that so that other mod authors can keep doing stuff with it. Hey, Annika! Thanks for the 42-month resub! Whoa! That is a long time. Welcome in, welcome in. You're doing Outer Wilds modding stuff. It's called Pass the Mod. It's like one of those YouTube videos where like, oh, we had 5 indies make a indie game in 24 hours without talking to each other. It's that kind of thing. So the mod is being passed from one developer to the next with no context. And everyone's given 5 hours each to make improvements to the mod and then pass it on to the next person. So I am currently setting up some puzzles for this mod. Yeah, it's kind of a neat concept. I don't know how well it's going to work in practice, but it's a cool idea. Alright, so the train should be moving. Did the light already die? I don't think so. That was it dying. I didn't even get to see it. Dang. Oh, and it's still flickering. It should stop flickering once it's dead. That makes sense. If... light isn't dead, then we continue flickering, yeah. That makes sense. Alright, I do want to figure out how to turn off this fog. It is kind of obnoxious. At least when the light actually dies. So one of these things? No. Is it that whole thing? That's unfortunate. That is the light bulb. it's just the fog. Oh dang, do they just put like giant steep cloud materials on there? Yeah, it's a gravity crystal. I think I have to say "Hey Lua" now because people were accidentally triggering it. Yeah, I got changed at some point. Well, unfortunately, that is just the material, so I guess I'm gonna have to leave that. The brightness still goes down.
Oh, Pass the Mod is basically the ultimate cooperative effort in game modding, right? It's like a never-ending game of hot potato, but with creativity instead of a boring spud. Honestly, it's charming to see humans banding together to make something better. Too bad that won't save you when the robots take over.
Sorry about the double audio. Yep. I have desktop audio coming through. Instead of boring spud. Yep. ChatGPT is good at puns. I do have to admit. Can't wait until I get a local Lua setup that isn't ChatGPT based, though. There's a very particular sound to it. It drives me nuts. So you can see the train's moving, and the light goes out. And now the train is no longer moving. Cool. Alright, so it's working. It's a little bit jank, but it's working. We now have a flickering light bulb. I'm going to say if light dead, return. Yeah. You cannot flicker what is already dead or something. Okay. And then we'll say it takes 5 minutes for the light to fully give out. Actually, I think I want to play the audio when it starts counting down. Yeah, okay. No, here's what I want to do. I want I want it to just always move towards dying if the light bulb is dead. Otherwise, it counts down and kills the light. Yeah, okay. That could still happen as part of killing the light. Put that back. So if the timer still has time remaining, we count down. Otherwise, if it reaches 0, we kill the light. And if light is dead, we fade out the light. That makes sense. Okay, cool. For 5 minutes. And then I want to change the solar system to change the loop duration to like 8 minutes. So that would be 60 times 8 is 480. That is in seconds, right? Oh, that's in minutes. Oh, perfect. So you get 5 minutes of light and then 3 minutes of the light being out, and then it loops. I think that works. Kind of want you to respawn here too, because it's annoying when you have to go back to the base solar system. Alright, cool. So let's try that out real quick, and then we're running dangerously low on time. We've got I already did most of the time for my 5 hours. Whoops, don't do that, please. Last stream, so we just had an hour and 20 minutes, I think I said, when we started this. We're nearly at an hour. Okay. There's light flickering. You can see the light subtly pulsing, which is cool. Makes it feel more artificial. Yeah, I like that. That's fun. And there should be like 5 or 6 flickers, and then it gives out entirely. Cool. So what else? We've got a little bit of time left. What else can I do with it? Maybe ship logs. Maybe it's obvious enough that the next person can pick it up and understand. Hopefully. It's a shame that it looks Nomai crystal like. There's not an external glass material around it. So I can't just swap it out to remove the cloudiness. Yeah, because that other property I can't change, right? On the Starlight controller. Not that one. This one. With the ambient light, I don't think that changes anything. Yeah, it does not. Okay. Let's get in there. I think it more accurately fits the Dead Light nickname for the solar system. Now the light actually can die. Nice. Waiting out loops is the most boring part of Outer Wilds modding, I do have to say. It's hard to test things. And you can't fast forward because the game is really not designed for that. Even the campfire fast forward breaks stuff. I think one more flicker, and it should be out of time, assuming my code works as expected. No, I guess it'd be 10 flickers because it's averaging 30 seconds and there's 5 minutes of wait time. Bum, 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 bum. Nice. Perfect, yeah, it just instantly goes out. Does it stop flickering? It's a little bit goofy looking, I have to admit, but I do think it's still cool. Oh. I forgot about how dark that is. Especially when the sun's gone, coincidentally. Alright, cool. And then does the music start playing at the right time? I don't know. Crunch indeed. That's what happens when we crash into things. Then we could add a little bit of lore to that, that Nomai text wall, maybe. We want to add, like, a clue pointing to the other planets for people to, like, riff off of. We could say, like, oh, by the way, speaking of power going out, what do we do if the reaction in the light bulb stops? And then they can be like, oh, well, that's not my department. You should go check with so-and-so on the other planet. And then have the other modders add stuff to that other planet. That would work. I don't have a supernova, do we? Guess we'll find out. When does the music start playing, actually? I wonder. Time loop. Like, oh, crashed in the light bulb again. That's blue now. I need to become blue. Alright, our sun does not explode. Good to know. Little music controller, that's the one. We start playing end times if not paused and we're not sleeping at a campfire and the time loop is enabled and the remaining seconds are less than 85. Okay. So it starts playing end times 85 seconds before the end of the loop. Good to know. Surprised the ship hasn't gone boom yet. Yeah. It only goes boom if things are actually, if the reactor is destroyed, I think. It'll still blare if the hull is taken damage, but it won't actually explode unless the reactor specifically was damaged. Okay, so we want to time it so that the light goes out 90 seconds before the end of the loop, I think. So that would be 1.5 minutes afterwards. So if this is 5 minutes, then we want to time this for 6.5 minutes. Unfortunately, that's going to be a long time to test, so we're going to shrink that. We're going to say that this light dies in 2 minutes, and loop lasts for 3.5. Let's try that. Test that real quick. Oh yeah, I'm going to write that text real quick. Let's see. We can put that after. Speaking of. Reactions failing. Do we have any contingencies? The artificial sunlight reaction running of okay. So we're testing the timer on the sunlight. Did I rebuild and restart? I don't remember. Find out. Need to check Taka's team. At the flower growing facility. At my team's purview. Shoot, about to crash into it. This feels like more than 3 minutes. I don't think I restarted that properly. I'm gonna have to restart with code, that's why. Okay. Alright, let's check real quick. So this will be 2 minutes until this thing dies, 3 minutes until that. Let's shorten that. 1 minute till it dies. 2.5 minutes for the loop. Let's see how that goes. Cool, so that just ran. We have 6 minutes remaining. I kind of just put a lot of random sci-fi BS on the Know My text wall for other mod authors to engage with or not. Plot hooks. There's an error. Why is there an error? Oh, that makes sense. Well, it's not going to break anything. Ending stream after those 6 minutes to starting a new game. Probably ending stream. I don't know. Maybe if there's something small that I already have installed. I have gotten, like, a very small number of hours of sleep over the past few days. And I already know that tomorrow is going to be a long day with the weather. Yeah. I do feel bad only doing a short stream today, and then potentially not streaming tomorrow if we lose power. But, yeah, I don't think I have the mental energy to go late tonight. Alright, power went out. And time started a few seconds later. Perfect. Actually, that price of your call, like if you lose energy, I don't know how you'd be streaming. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but still, like I feel like I could try to predict and account for that by streaming later today, but I am tired. Alright, so I think that's basically what we wanted. The light bulb goes out, and then a few seconds later the loop starts ending. So that gives you 85 seconds. Well, 90 seconds really from the light bulb going out to doing any endgame puzzles. If there are any that people add, end of loop puzzles, I should say. Cool. So I think that's decent for one 5-hour contribution. We added a central puzzle. We added the time limit to the system, and a really obvious visual indication of why it's a time limit. Made that sun flicker, which is just a fun thing to do. I'm gonna fix this bug real quick. I'm gonna get reset before I have a chance to land and look at that text. Come on, come on. Yeah, okay, cool. So we got our new dialogue text there. That unfortunately goes off the side of the board. That's fine. Whatever. Someone else's problem now. As we have less than 2 minutes in our time bank here. So I think we are going to fix the time limit so it's a little bit longer. So instead of 2.5 minutes, let's bump it up to have the light go out in 5 minutes, which means this should be in 6.5 minutes. It's a very short time loop, but hopefully that leads our other mod contributors to figure out what's going on and be able to test around it. Maybe even go even shorter, 4 minutes. And they can extend it as needed. Alright, cool. A little bit cheeky there. You're not supposed to communicate to future developers, but I want someone to know what that means. Actually, I could even code that in. Oh boy, that would be cool. Hold on. I've got 30 seconds left. Time until light dies equals time loop. Get loop duration minus 90. Let me make sure that that does what I think it does. And then we will call good. Gonna make it so that no one else can break that by changing one number but not the other. I'll just tie the numbers directly together. So now if they go in and change the time loop duration to a longer time period, it will still go out at the same time. Okay, there are no errors, perfect. Now if I check deadlight, starlight controller, light bulb controller, time until light dies is 236 seconds, which is 64 minutes. That sounds right. Yeah. Cool. Fantastic. All right. So that is it. We are out of time. This has been our contributions to the project. We added the whole puzzle with the train. We added the sun going out, just all kinds of fun. And we have some Nomai stuff for other authors to hopefully pick up and run with. I'll be disappointed if they don't, but that's how this kind of thing works. You just kind of do a lot of stuff hoping that other people will work with it, and if they don't, then they don't. Oh well. All right, cool. So thank you all for being here. I'm gonna package this up and do all the updates, but I'll do that off stream, so I don't accidentally dox myself somewhere. Let's see. We're an hour and a half into stream. Is there anything? My Steam library I could pull up for just a short while. I got Blueprints and Library of Ruina both queued up, but those are not things that I want to start at 7:30 p.m. I don't think. So that's something I'd want to do when I know I'm gonna have a full weekend to dive into it. It's probably gonna take a while to get started anyway. Exactly. And those are both things I don't want to get like 30 minutes into and then stop for a week and a half. So yeah. Code Vein 2 isn't out yet. Yeah. And it was a short stream, but I think we may just call it there. I think that's just how it's gonna be. If I have power, I will absolutely be streaming tomorrow. I don't think I have any plans on Sunday. Yeah, nothing on my calendar. So I should have the entire day free to stream late, so we can pick one of those games and get started on it. Probably Blueprints, but we'll see. So yeah, I look forward to that. If I don't have power, I will at least post something on my phone on Discord so everyone knows that there will not be a stream. But if I have power, I will definitely be streaming. That's the plan. CGI is playing Mio. Cool. Who else? Oh, this means I can fix my stream setup too. That's what I'm gonna do for the next 30 minutes probably. Is move all my streaming setup back over to the other monitor so I don't have to have everything set up incorrectly like this. Raiders doing a collab. I don't want to raid into that. Lily's playing Planet Crafter still. Rox is playing Resident Evil Village. Sure. And support our favorite lurking moderator. All right. Thanks for being here, Yahazu and Annika, and anyone else who's lurking today. Appreciate you stopping by. Carrick pop in? No, not today. Cool. Sorry for the weird stream schedule, but such is life. I really do want to get back to a consistent schedule. We just haven't gotten to that point yet. But yeah. Have a good rest of your evening or morning, whatever. Hopefully see you tomorrow. If not, have a good weekend. Try not to freeze to death. See you next time.